Okay, welcome back everybody. I want to give a little short introduction to people who are here today for the first time. It's not a coincidence that the Bitcoinference is happening at the Science Park Amsterdam, or the Amsterdam Science Park. Because in the 80s the Dutch government wanted to introduce microtransactions for traffic, to avoid traffic jams and such. And they asked David Chow, a famous cryptographer, to do research. He worked at the CWI next to this building. And David Chow invented many fundamental cryptographic protocols in the 80s. And he realized, while working on this, that he could use those protocols to create a money system. So that's why he started DigiCash at the beginning of the 90s. It's the first digital cash system. It has a famous history, but in the end, at the end of the 90s, it went bankrupt for some reason. Unfortunately, because it could have really become the standard, but because it didn't, PayPal came and MasterCard and such. But now we hope that Bitcoin will take it back, or other coins, of course. So that's a little bit history about the Science Park. I also like to note that people who know Tor and mixed networks, this system is now running on Tails, so Tor is not running, but it's a secure system, kind of secure. It's based on the work of David Chow in the 80s on mixed networks. Tor is a mixed network 2.0, to say it like that. Also the janitor here, when I told him about the Bitcoinference and David Chow, he was really excited because he liked him very much, and he hoped that he would be present at the conference. Unfortunately not, but hopefully one day. Another thing I'd like to note is that for the people who didn't know already, if you go to chat.bitcoinference.com, you can chat during the conference. You do it like this. You create a username by just typing one. Here you type the message. You do enter, and it works. It's just working since Tuesday night, so don't expect much of it, but it's nice if you would try it. So now to the next speaker. As you might know, one of the hot subjects at this moment is crowdfunding, and to create a Bitcoin solution for crowdfunding. I know Alex Oberhauser from the previous conference, and I know he was doing something with funding and crowdfunding. So he will tell us a little bit more about Bitcoin and crowdfunding. So please, a big applause for Alex Oberhauser.
Thank you, Bas. As Bas has said, crowdfunding is a hot topic at the moment. So why am I here? I personally am a pretty technical person. My background is in computer science. Although I'm a technical person and I love Bitcoin and playing around with it, most of my friends and peers and I myself, I cannot use Bitcoin for my day-to-day life. One reason for that is that most shops don't accept Bitcoin yet, unfortunately. And I think that Bitcoin and crowdfunding could solve this problem by eliminating shops as intermediates. So try to motivate that. For that, please meet Bob, a hard-working, friendly neighbor. He plans to do a bar barbecue, and for this purpose he needs to collect some form of cash. He can go from door to door to each neighbor, but that takes a lot of time and it is a lot of effort. And Bob can also set up a credit card payment system or go to his bank. That's also for Bob a normal person that has no expertise in point of sales, in campaign management, in marketing. In general, he's not a technical person. That's not really a solution for him. So to have a credit card payment service, it's not feasible. The distribution of his bank account for hiring the money, that's also challenging. First of all, it takes time. It costs you some money, at least. And so I personally believe that crowdfunding could help. Crowdfunding, as it is now, we know crowdfunding for startups, for funding of startups, for technical projects. But for such small things like organizing a small event, like a barbecue, could be really useful. And as you know, Bitcoin solves this issue, right? He can distribute Bitcoin addresses to his fellow peers, and then he receives the money in a matter of half an hour max, even fast. And with this money he can go to buy some meat, some beer, some whatever he needs. So problems solved? I don't think so. If you use Bitcoin as it is now without additional service, we have the same problem as with bank accounts, basically. So to distribute the Bitcoin addresses to the neighbors, it takes time. It is an effort somehow, right? And it eliminates financial institutes in between. That's good, so you don't need to pay an external service, an external party for such small things like organizing a barbecue. That's definitely an advantage. The micro payments, I would call them, are pretty fast. So also if somebody wants to fund this barbecue 5 minutes before it really starts, that's possible. But the question is, what can we do more? A lot of people in the Bitcoin branch, they talk about crowdfunding, but nobody has delivered an explanation how Bitcoin could really improve the crowdfunding experience. So let me try to solve that. First of all, in difference to bank accounts, you can distribute Bitcoin addresses via social networks. So you can combine a trust model. I can distribute Bitcoin addresses, for example, via my Facebook account. So people know that I'm really that person that collects money for this cause, right? The distribution of Bitcoin addresses is not critical. I would not share my credit card or my bank account, my IBAN SWIFT number on Facebook. Definitely not. But with a Bitcoin address, I don't have an issue with that. Additional, another nice side effect is that you can give each each friend or each peer of use a separate Bitcoin address, so you can track if this person has really paid. This tracking could be done automatically. You can receive a notification. Another problem that I personally, as a really technical person, have is that Bitcoin is not so straightforward as it seems. Right? I have to go to an exchange to exchange euros with Bitcoins. Then I want to spend my Bitcoins somehow. So I cannot go to some shops here. So if I go to the supermarket, it's quite likely that I cannot pay with Bitcoins. So I have to search for an online shop most time, or a offline shop where I can pay with it. So the experience is somehow I have a big effort to exchange that, only to manually search for shops where I can spend money, right? And in our crowdfunding case, it's not bad if you have a service where an exchange is integrated, where you can change your money with one click. Then you create your crowdfunding campaign that is automatically distributed to social media, via print medias like flyers. So, and currently I'm working on BTC funding. BTC funding solves, basically it brings the crowdfunding experience to the mass market. It integrates the different steps with Bitcoin as the central core. And we have launched last Sunday. And that's basically all what I want to say at this point. And please, if you agree or disagree,
can you explain a little bit on the show? Like you say, the Bitcoin is at the core. I understand that you have an exchange integrated for the people doing the crowdfunding project. But how is that then further displayed and shown when it comes down to getting people to fund you? Do they see a Bitcoin address, or do they just see a service where they can put euros in?
No, at the moment, as you can imagine, it's only a Bitcoin service. The exchange is basically an external service that we integrate in the future in order to help people to get more familiar with Bitcoin, to get really fast Bitcoins, right? And then the whole crowdfunding is done via Bitcoin transactions.
Okay, do you have a screenshot of your launch pages? What does your site look like?
I can show you if you like.
Yes,
or you can go to this page.
Oh, that's much harder for me.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, the presentation that I have done here, it's not what we have released now. The presentation was more an outlook how crowdfunding should be. Right? It should be straightforward, it should be easy. We are working on that now, but at the moment what we have is basically only the transaction and campaign management. As you see, it's an early version, not optimized for this type of screens. So basically how it works is that if you go to this page, to the crowdfunding page, you can donate directly there via scanning the QR code. That's the easiest way, right? It's not too hard. If you own Bitcoins, if you come from Facebook, then you get a separated Bitcoin address so that the campaign creator can track from where the donation comes from. So that you cannot do with bank accounts, that you cannot do with credit cards. So Bitcoin really helps to track, to monitor, and in a future step to optimize your crowdfunding campaigns. If you think about, if you have to print flyers, you have to pay some money, right? I mean, printing is not for free. And if you see you get less money than your printing costs are, then the next similar campaign you will not print these flyers, right? More questions?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
I was wondering, there's also a organization that created something called SwarmCoin, where they do crowdfunding. What is your opinion on that initiative?
From a technical point of view, I like it because as far as I know, they have a separated blockchain, a separated decentralized ledger, right? So I like it a lot from a technical point of view, but in order to bring Bitcoin to the mass market, it's maybe better to use the Bitcoin blockchain to spread Bitcoin further and not to create a separated blockchain for each case that you have, right? So I don't see really a point in that because that somehow hurts the Bitcoin ecosystem. And our goal is not only to bring crowdfunding to the mass market for small events for every day, but also to bring Bitcoin to this mass market somehow. And that's important, that are the two important patients that we have. More questions?
So how much does it cost to start a campaign?
The first 6 months it's called. After that we are not quite sure how it will work out. But at the moment we have a business model of 4% of the payouts. If you pay out your crowd funds to an external Bitcoin address or to your bank account, then you pay 4%. If you are an organization and you have a lot of transactions, then you pay a monthly premium fee.
Are there any more questions?
Who is using the service right now? Who are your customers? Do you have any? What types of companies are they?
We watched last Sunday.
To be really honest, we don't know yet. We have launched this service last week, so it's pretty fresh. We have two customers. One that collects for animal shelters, so animal protection costs. And the second one are the Bitcoin beauties from San Francisco. Their goal is to collect money for all to around the world to promote Bitcoin. So on the one side, we have campaigns that are inside the Bitcoin community, really technical, and on the other side, non-technical projects with people that have absolutely no clue about social media, about bitcoins, and with this group we hope to improve our service in such a way that it's really easy to use.
Any more questions? Any more questions?
Alex, then please thank you for giving your presentation. People, please give Alex a big applause. We will have a very short break, not too long. Get some coffee and tea, and then Dominic Zinis will give his presentation, which he, according to the program, he would do it yesterday, but he will do it today. So get some coffee and tea.